You want answers?
Boss Cowboy.
You can't handle the truth.
Bringing real back. He be speaking his mind.
Need the cash pronto. Throw interception like Romo.
Boss Cowboy.
You want answers?
Where your voice matters.
Run it up, run it up.
You can't handle the truth.
Run it up, run it up.
Remember to like and subscribe.
All right. We got a special one today. Lando, kick us off.
What's up, man? Yeah, we were just talking about it. I think it's cool whenever moments like this get to happen. I should say it's cool and it's rare when two people are so opposite on opposite ends of the spectrum are willing to voice those opinions, but then also double down and stand on thoughts in business in this case and just talk about it over live, right? So not only is it healthy for us to challenge our thought processes, right, when we come to these types of conclusions and these team building related circumstances that, like in this case, George Pickens, Max Crosby, and our trade debate, right? That's kind of what we're calling it. Of course, it's going to be respectful. It's going to be friendly. Boss and I have done work together in the past, but
yeah,
this is long overdue. But I think you guys are really going to appreciate it because people love hearing both sides of the spectrum, right? We're going to come at this thing from both sides of the fence, and then it's healthy because you guys get to hear it from two people who put a lot of work and effort into what they do, and you can formulate your own opinion, and you just kind of get to hear a passionate take from both sides, right? But then there's no loser in this thing. There's no winner. It's just like my philosophy with life in general is that you either win or you learn, right? So hopefully I imagine, as I usually do, especially when Boss and I have gotten together in the past, usually at the open portion of practice to the public right at the Star in Frisco just before the start of each season. That's happened each of the last two cycles now, and we've kind of got to do some work together, which has been awesome. But hearing from people who are in the same line of business that think about things in a completely different way, it's good for me. I know for a fact I'm going to learn something from it. If not about what Boss does, I'll learn about how to make my process better. And then the same thing is probably true for him. He alluded to those things as well yesterday on Twitter, but then also too for the fans, which is ultimately what this is about. For anybody, Boss, your platform is much bigger than mine. I'm still a spring chicken in this regard, but anybody who is unfamiliar with me, I'll just go ahead and introduce myself. I'm Lando from the Lando Show, and my platform, my purpose here is to creatively convey the sports below the surface truth for the true fan, and then ultimately just be a vessel for the gospel in the same time. I know that's what I was put on this earth to do, and so that's why I'm here. And so, man, I think you gave me permission behind the scenes, Boss. If that's all right with you, I'll go ahead and run it. The clip that's going to sort of tease an intro, get everybody on the same page, set the table for the ultimate discussion. There's some breaking news that Boss is excited to share. We will discuss and unpack. I'm really excited.
Y'all will be so happy, Kevin.
That'll be a good palate cleanser for everybody, just kind of get him into the flow state, get me into the flow state, and then we'll kind of come up with this picking stuff alongside Max Crosby from both sides. But without further ado, man, let me just go ahead and run this soundbite here. This is what kicked off the momentum for what you guys are seeing now in real time. And I hope my microphone is okay for this. You let me know if it's not.
It should be. Yes, live.
Right. So this was a super chat from a couple days ago. Boss on with Lou Takes and Dan Rogers from Blogging the Boys. It was a great discussion. I heard some things. I had seen some things, and so it got me interested in listening to what Boss had to say. And then it sparked this super chat right here, which once again is the precursor for why we are currently here. I'll go ahead and run that clip.
Go ahead and play it. I'll play it. I think I can. Before pressing the screen, remove the media streams from the stage. Okay, hold on.
Does it need your permission for it first?
Try it again.
Okay, how about right now?
He said the positional market value usually evolves slower than the game itself. The money tells an incomplete story. What do you say about that?
No, I'll take that one. No, because it's too long. See, running back, I see what you're saying, because running back cycled. You could see what running backs 4 years ago was way undervalued. Now they have returned back market-wise to reasonable rates. So there's a cyclical, but edge, no. Edge, tackle, and quarterback, since there have been money allocated to them, have always been the most valuable positions ever since it was leather helmets. So no, like he's right. Dan is right. Follow the money. The money tells you what the value is, and the value is edge. We not gonna rewrite the rules because we like Pickens. Well, I'm not.
Boom. All right, so we'll just let that marinate, and I'm gonna let Boss run with the news that he was really excited to share behind the snes as well. It just came down from Todd Archer, so go ahead and take it away.
Oh
Boss.
yeah, we got Todd Archer, and we also have the thumbnail. So the thumbnail is dealing with what just happened in the market. So I want to make sure that everybody is very aware, because this changes a lot. So basically, let me show this real quick. Let me get everybody on the same page. Let me just share my screen. Here we go. All right. So basically, I did a show yesterday, right? And I was basically explaining that the average per year for George Pickens is going to be 40. And you gotta start with 40 if you calculate his market value correctly, right? So I did that publicly, right? And so, you know, I've been getting pushback on that because people don't believe I know how to do those numbers. Mm-hmm. I've done those numbers every year, and I almost hit it exactly every time. Mm-hmm. So, because I projected that Michael Parsons was 45, right? APY, if you compare him to the market, right? So then guess what it comes out and says? Puka Nacua is likely going to average 43 million on APY. What does that do to George Pickens? See, because
in theory, it increases his price tag. Sure.
Absolutely it does. It's like, it's no getting around it. And this is why it absolutely increases his value. It's because we can't then knock, because a lot of people, when they was going to try to knock him down to 35 and all that kind of stuff, 34, it was going to build the argument that he's no Chase. He's no Jefferson, right? But he is so much a Puka or more. And it's evidence that the market don't really care about accolades like that, nor comparisons. So what I was showing people yesterday is it's more about who's next than the accolades. And I showed them over and over that every time there's a top receiver, they don't even have to be the top, a top receiver or a top corner, they're going to surpass the previous guy. It's because that's how the market works. So I'm just explaining to people that, yeah, that basically Pickens just got him an absolute raise. So everybody that was thinking 30, you might as well throw it out. Like, it should have been threw it out, but now this is the evidence to throw that in the trash.
Mm-hmm. So then, okay, let's, if I may, let me paint the opposite side, just the devil's advocate approach to that take. Right. And that's correct. By the way, I've always subscribed to the idea that the market dictates your price. Take it or leave it. It is what it is. That it's a bit of an overgeneralized statement. And what I mean by that, when I say that, and why it's true for George Pickens, is because the Cowboys side of things, right? David Mulligetta and George Pickens are absolutely jumping for joy when they see this news. You're correct about that.
No doubt.
No question. And David Mulligetta, by the way, takes no prisoners. So let's just,
yeah, he gonna be
high. This is that David Mulligetta energy right here, akin to our guy from the Avengers, Thanos.
And Chase was after CD.
Yeah, and so,
and he did surpass him by 5 million.
So here's the thinking, though, right? The flip side of that coin is, does George Pickens want guaranteed money now that surpasses just 1 year and just 2 years and into the range of 4, perhaps even 5? Or does he want to play hardball?
Right.
And once again, this is a three-sided, a triple-edged sword of negotiation. But so what the calculation for me on the flip side of this coin here is, all right, what's your body of work? As good as he was last year, still the seventh best receiver performance since 2022, statistically speaking, 1,400 yards and 9 touchdowns. So right up there in the echelons of any other receiver that you want to name. He's there, right? This past season with an MVP caliber quarterback, which was the reasoning for the logic for why this was going to be a slam dunk pairing anyway. When you put him with somebody that's not Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, Justin Fields, or a well past his prime Russell Wilson, you get pretty good things, right? And you're also not playing in the NFC North when it's bully ball and trying to ball control your way through freezing temperatures all the time, okay? Controlled environments, those types of things, right? It's logical to make the receiver palette make more sense in Dallas for a lot of different reasons, well beyond just quarterback or climate, right? But so we've seen that manifest now. It worked, verifiably so, okay? Fact. George Pickens is a top 10 player in this league at that position. Statistically this year, that's true. You can't deny that. What the Cowboys will say is, we have leverage too, though. You might have this Puka thing, but we have leverage. You haven't done what Puka's done over the last 2 years. It's more than one season of dominance league-wide. But and also, too, we've got the franchise tag this year at our disposal that they do plan to use at the very least to buy them some more time to reach a negotiation or a contract extension. So that franchise tag value would be $28 million fully guaranteed. And then they could, of course, do it again, which is 120% of this year's franchise tag value at $28 million, which would be about $34 million next year. So you add those two numbers together, 34 plus 28 and divide it by 2, and you get $31 million. That's where that number came from. That's why we saw, I think it was Pickens camp or whatever that was that you referred to a minute ago, who leaked that report, that's where the number starts. That's where the negotiation starts. And that's true. It should start there because that's what the franchise tag value says that George Pickens is worth over the next 2 years. So the Cowboys would say, all right, George, you can make an average of $31 million over the next 2 years, or you can agree to go ahead and just double those relative guarantees and 2x that into the 4 and 5 year stretch as opposed to the 1 and the 2 year stretch. Right. So that is where the discussion is. That's where the jousting and the jockeying is going to be, because yes, there's leverage on both sides, right? And of course, waiting it out has always made sense because Puka Nacua is not the only guy that's going to need a contract extension at the top of the market, right? And you can see it right here, what's seemingly inevitable. But my thing is, and we'll touch on this more, I'll stop after this, but this is kind of the sole purpose for being here is I don't care what the money is. And in my personal opinion, boss, if you feel free to disagree, and maybe you will, but the viewer shouldn't either. The Cowboys fans shouldn't either, because what we know now, what we've been unpacking on my channel for many months, and actually I think into 2+ years now on the Lando Show's YouTube channel, is unpacking the truth about the salary cap and how cap hell is a relative myth, and how the cap, yes, it's a thing and it exists, but it's more of an accounting principle than any sort of hard financial team building restriction, right? Because you can always make the money work and manipulate it, and that it's in itself can't be disputed, but it's in its simplest form, the money is always going to work because void years, and on top of, in conjunction with the ever ballooning value of the NFL dollar, meaning the salary cap is ever increasing. It's only gone down 1 year, and that was, of course, 2020. That was when the Cowboys, think about it, guys. Listen, 2020 happens. They penny pinch. Now here we are again. They're back in the bust the budget window because they've saved the money. They've balanced that budget out, if you will. But the money doesn't matter unless there's a global pandemic per se. That's my thing. And then we know what's coming down the pipeline in 2030, why this is even more important. They've created this 3-year window with Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, Tyler Smith, now Quinnen Williams and company. The list goes on and on and on, right? 2030, when that new TV deal gets negotiated, that new TV money comes in, when we got these major corporations, these major production-based businesses like Amazon, YouTube even, Fox, CBS, whoever, you name it, ESPN, Disney, they're all going to be negotiating against each other. Business has been booming so well since 2020 in the NFL. They're entering the negotiation table well before that contract actually even expires. It doesn't expire for another few years, but they're going to begin the negotiations towards that and start reworking those things. So come 2030, this money matters even less than it does right now having this conversation sitting here, because there's a projected 20, anywhere between 20 to 30%. So we'll just split the difference right in the middle, 25% salary cap jump come 2031. So people say, oh, well, you sign Pickens, then you can't do anything else. Not true, because you keep kicking that can down the road. You let the ever evolving and ever increasing salary cap take care of those credit card swipes and deferrals that happen into the future. When you kick the can down the road, you let the ever ballooning salary cap take care of it. And that's still a projection at this point, but teams like the Eagles are betting into it and buying into it. And that's what the Cowboys are preparing to do as well.
Yeah, and I don't believe at all that the cap is a myth. I did a show with
That's a cap, just to be clear, cap hell is a myth. Not the cap is real.
Okay,
You can manipulate it to your advantage if
hell
you
is not a
have
myth.
pieces in place
you
to
can
really,
manipulate it,
really
but
go
it
for
does limit you. So, like for instance, you know, a lot of people like to bring up the Saints, right? So I had Michael Gilkin on the show, and when Michael Gilkin and I was talking, he did what most people do is they do kind of like the yearly annual switch gymnastics. I call it monopoly money.
restructures, right?
Yeah, they go to above the cap and start, extending people, and it'll free up some money. They'll restructure people to free up some money. But what Michael Gilkin did that was totally different than everybody else is he did the actual consequences of all these switches, right? Mm-hmm. And he was looking forward to what was getting ready to happen with these switches. And there was certain switches that was pulled, like the Zach Martin switch, because the Zach Martin basically skipped the line and put a lot of dead cap on our books, which is still on our books right now for 16 million. So when you have an average of 25 million of a increase in cap per year, which is what it's been doing since the new CBA, you can have one switch that can eat up even half of that growth. So one of the biggest things that's super important that me and Michael discussed is that there's a trend of no teams at that time, which was 2 years ago when we had this discussion, that had 3 players over 30 million on APYs per year. And it's a reason for that. The reason why they don't do that, because your bigger contracts also have a bigger balloon at the end, because most people kind of have cap ease at the beginning of their contracts. Like for instance, if you look at Michael right now, because he was extended, Michael last year only had a $9 million cap.
I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to bring that same point up. That actually plays
but it
into,
balloons,
yeah.
But it balloons exponentially. And when
does.
you put too many of those guys on your books, it makes it to where it's actually unsustainable. So there are windows.
Unless a 25%, we're not talking 20 million like this year, the jump year over year. Salary cap was 279 last year, projected to 301 to 305. Let's call it a $22 million jump. We're talking 25%. Which
no.
In this case, it's going to be
an
$80 million jump.
I get your forecast in 2020 or 2030, right? Okay. It's still a little bit of a gamble.
It is, absolutely.
Because it's one of those things that where we don't want to count those eggs until they actually hatch, because we don't anticipate it, but it could be another pandemic, right? And if you have a pandemic and you planned on nothing but growth, and you made all these decisions on nothing but growth, and then you don't get the growth because something crazy happened, now all of a sudden you got to tear your whole team down because you was over aggressive on your switches for a short period. So it's like this is a risk averse conversation where we discuss, and there's some people willing to take on excess risk that others are not. And when I see other teams, like for instance, at this point, it's only 2 teams with 3 players with an average of APY of 30 million or higher. Detroit, and then it's also San Fran, and they likely getting ready to lose one with IU. So this is the point. There's no trend of a whole lot of max contracts in the league, because you're not seeing that with Philly. We're not seeing that with the Rams. We're not seeing that with all the teams that we like to bring up as examples of being able to get around the cap. To me, what I see these guys and teams doing, they're being way more responsible with their cap management than we are, which then allow them to have more players, but with the way that we kind of handle our business, like for instance, playing with this Puka Nacua thing. If you keep playing with this thing, right, and now we talking about tagging, and we pretty sure we're going to tag Pickens and bullshitting him, right? We keep doing that. Now all of a sudden, this man is going to get in front of you, and it's going to harden the resolve of Pickens. It's going to harden his resolve, because see, some of this, in my opinion, Lando, and I know I'm being long-winded, I'm gonna shut up.
No, this is you're perfect, man. Keep going. This is your show every bit as much as it's mine.
Yeah. So I appreciate that. So some of this to me becomes personal after a while. Like for instance, Dak, in my opinion, had a much easier road in his first dispute before Wentz and Goff was paid. Now, the moment they was paid, it changed him. He like, no, everything that they have, you got to surpass it, period. I was drafted with those guys. I never got the accolades that I've deserved over those guys. I'm going to get mine now, right? And it becomes personal. That's why Dak said the first contract was personal. The second one wasn't. He was trying to surpass guys. So if you let a guy like Puka Nacua get in front of you, Dallas, that's not going to be good cap management. And it's going to continue to balloon Pickens. It's going to balloon him. So, or it could also make him, like I just said, just harden him. And where he would have been willing to work with Dallas, but if he look around and he see other teams taking care of their receivers, he gonna want his.
So, okay, so can we backtrack for just a second? A second ago, I just want to make sure that I understand. You said other teams are being more responsible with the cap than the Cowboys are. I'm curious what you mean by that. Are you saying the Cowboys haven't been responsible with their cap? Because the numbers would say that Jason OTC just put his report that he put out a couple days ago show that the Cowboys, not only have they signed the 5th fewest total free agents outside their building in the months of March and April since in a 5-year stretch, they have the lowest total APY per player in the entire National Football League. Whereas teams like the Texans, for instance, and I tweeted this the other day,
they had the lowest APY. Well,
56 total signings relative to the Cowboys 16. They signed I don't know what the math is. Somebody could correct me in the comments, but 3.5 times as many guys for more of the average annual price. Now, I'm not saying what the Texans method is correct. I'm just suggesting that that data right there from Jason at overthecap.com discredits anyone who suggests that the Cowboys have been anything but responsible, too responsible, right? My problem is, we're talking about risk and things like that and into the future. Talking about risk, lacking that risk, being conservative and comfortable, because you can't be fired in the front office because it's the team-owned business. Yeah. That's what got us here in the first place.
But wait,
that's what 30 years of
did you say front office
is?
Lando, you just said front office responsible.
Say it again.
You just said front office is responsible.
No. I said because a minute ago you said that the front office wasn't being responsible with their cap.
Yeah. Okay. So
I said my point just now was that they've been the opposite of they've been too comfortable, too complacent.
Okay. So let me explain. Let me go a little deep into the weeds.
Okay.
So this is where they're irresponsible. When you look at the way that Detroit manages their cap. And I know you go do this because you kind of like me. We trust, but we verify. We got Ronald Reagan spirit, right? So if you go look at Detroit main players, like if you go look at Panay, if you go look at the quarterback, if you go look at the receivers, every one of them signed in April. Every one of them. Why? Because it presents the Pukas. If you go look at Dallas, most of their big contracts can sign when.
But we're talking about historically. I'm talking about what they've been planning to do for this year. And we're not even. No.
So that's why I was talking about responsible, because the overall case that we was talking about was other teams managing of the resources as better than us. So like if you getting your guys done earlier, which is now not allowing other guys to jump you, then that allows you to kind of lock in your guy instead of running this price up. So when you continue,
like they just did with Javonte Williams, though, is that correct? Would you agree?
Well, Javonte Williams is not a high ticket guy.
He's not, but he's
but see, some of these guys are running to the table. Like
the 13th highest paid running back now.
And that's a team friendly deal, but that's not. He's not somebody that's going to be scary to your books. So the whole time we talk about
it's incredibly team friendly. I'm with you.
Right. So and we started with this, that it's only so many per team of 30+ million APYs on the team.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
So that's why it got to go back to being responsible with your big guys, because that's what takes up a majority of your cap. You'll have sometimes 4 people that'll take up 50% of the cap. See what I'm saying? So you got to get a deal done in a way to where you actually don't blow your own team up by being also irresponsible in the way that you're doing business. So if you're doing stuff like I refuse to talk to the agent and all that kind of stuff, and I only want to try to talk to the principal, but while you're doing it that way, what's also happening at the same time, other teams are just getting in front of you and signing their guys. Right. And that's why I wanted to go back to this real quick and kind of showcase something real quick that's important, because a lot of people, in my opinion, they make a mistake. When they talk about these players, they talk about this guy is not going to surpass him because he's not as good as him. It's like, listen, every one of these guys surpass each other. So it's not really about who has a Super Bowl. It's not about, how many yards this guy has, the Pro Bowls. Listen, if you even close to each other, that agent is going to surpass the next guy. It's a clear trend of that you can see in every market, whether you're looking at corners,
it's reasons why.
But what we do, when I saw people
quarterback and people said he ain't better than Pat and Joe and all these other people. It's the market, right? I get you. I'm with you.
So what I see a lot of people doing, I saw people immediately start doing it in the chat. They still saying, "Oh, man, Pickens is no Puka Nacua." It's like it don't even matter. See, and we could easily say Puka's not no Jamar Chase, but he getting ready to get $43 million. You know what I'm saying? He ain't no Justin Jefferson, but he getting ready to get $43 million. Right, so because that's how the market works.
Right. Okay. So now here's my thing. The 43 million APY, astronomical.
Right. Well,
my thing is,
it's really not
those numbers. That's what the agent wants us to see, right? That's him flexing his muscle. Okay.
Exactly.
So I just had the same conversation about Javonte Williams, right? Trying to get fans to understand it's not really a 3-year, $24 million deal for Javonte Williams. It's 2 at 16 with an out. Actually, after 1, if you post June 1 them in a disaster scenario, you could split the dead cap up over 2 years and be just fine. Because like you mentioned a minute ago, it's not one of those big ticket deals. Facts. No. It's true. But now, so my problem, I think where you and I are different, and you feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, is the APY is not what's relevant. Let me see these other details. Let me see the total guarantee.
That's the talking money. I call it. That's the one. That's
perceived value for fans, and for agent marketability.
But that's also the ceiling that sets the parameters of everything else. So the higher APY, the more guarantee you can fit under your contract. The higher APY, the more, it's a lot that fit under that. And that's why it's also still key to raise it. So they not just playing with a number. They know that number moves all the other numbers, right? So it's one of those things to where, but it's also the sticker number. It's the number that they go kind of show out there on. And it's the number that they kind of categorize people by. That's why people was calling Dak Mr. $40 million quarterback, even though his cap hit was never even close to that when he was under that contract.
Correct.
Right? So then now they call him Mr. $60 million. But the bigger point is this. He's going
to play for about the same amount of money that Patrick Mahomes is after $31 million just cleared for their restructure as well. Yeah, that's irrelevant. I agree.
Exactly. So the thing that I'm saying that I'm trying to get people to really understand is the true market value of Pickens, right? Because I see a bigger thing going on, in my opinion. See, the number 30 million was leaked out there, and that's, to me, was done intentional. I think it's a lot of chess and stealth going on behind the scenes to where front office likely was the ones, because it came through Kevin Walker's, is leaked that. So then you see 30 million, and then the fans get their expectations up for 30 million, but the true market value of Pickens is 40, and I did it yesterday, and it's a simple way to do it. It's easy for anybody to do. It's not even pre-algebra math. So if you go look at CeeDee Lamb, the key thing you got to do, and I'm gonna explain this real quick, all you got to do is to get a rough estimate of the proper APY of a player. Is look at a player that's comparable, that most people would say is fair, just so you can kind of feel good about it in your gut, right? Most people, they chose CeeDee Lamb when we did this exercise yesterday. So then you got to go look at when was CeeDee Lamb signed. He signed his deal in 2024. So then you got to say, okay, what was the percentage of the cap that APY take up? So the number on that year was 255. So what percentage was that to CeeDee Lamb? 13% of that year's cap. So you say, okay, what would that be in today's cap? So then you got to do a small little easy forecast, and you say, what's the projected cap this year? It's 305 million. So if you take 13% of 305 million, that's 40 million. So that tells you, if you see Pickens comparable to CD, that's telling you that the market for Pickens is gonna be around that.
Yeah.
And that simple math is gonna be explained to him by his agent, and is gonna set his real expectation of his value. He's not gonna be over here like, oh shit, unless he wants to. Like, if he might say, listen, you can give me 36, 35, 38, but he's gonna know he's worth 40 on the APY. And that's why Puka is already them putting out there, I'm expecting 43. But if you do it by a percentage of the cap, that's basically saying Puka Nacua is only gonna be 14% of the cap.
Okay. So here's another thing that I want to make sure is understood. And I see Lou in the chat. He and I had a back and forth on it on Twitter as well. He mentions here inflation, right? And so that's
the growth of the cap. He right.
Exactly. And that actually plays into my argument, right? Mm-hmm. For the same reasons that George Pickens' value may equal or exceed, whether it does or doesn't, CeeDee Lamb, that's the whole point of what I'm getting at. So inflation, right? Mm-hmm. The ever increasing value of the NFL dollar.
Right.
That's ammo and ammunition in my chamber, because the reality is Puka's 43 APY. Mm-hmm. He's on a 5-year extension. This is not apples to apples. George Pickens is he's past his rookie contract. That expired. Puka still had 1 more year left. So they got ahead of it. But the thing is, that now becomes a 5-year. What were the terms, real quick? Can you remind me?
They didn't say the duration. They just threw out the APY right now. They not into the weeds yet. This is the floater number. Okay.
So I'm assuming that's going to be a turn into a 5-year deal, because he still technically had 1 year left on his current contract. I'm assuming a 4-year extension at 43 APY, whatever.
Yeah.
But the reality is,
some receivers and most receivers are doing 3s now. Just FYI.
Yeah. And more teams will. It's not coincidental, by the way, that Javonte signed a 3-year deal, because once again, that puts him in that 2029 window when all these other contracts are kind of lining up just before the new TV money comes in. It's all connected. But my point, 43 APY for Puka, guess what? Because he's now on a 5-year contract, maneuverability as a result of the inflation with voided years, when you kick the can down the road, inflation allows you to not worry about this stuff. Guess what, guys? Puka Nacua is going to cost less in years 1 and 2 than George Pickens would on the franchise tag in years 1 and 2, hypothetically.
Yeah, he will.
Right? So that's my thing is, listen, people think, and I keep hearing this everywhere, George Pickens, you sign him to an extension, you can't get Max Crosby. Or George Pickens, you sign him to an extension, you can't keep Kenny Clark, or you can't go be aggressive in free agency, or all this other stuff. No, George Pickens is cheaper years 1 and 2 on an extension than he is if he is playing on the tag. Period.
Exactly.
Period. So I had to say that
and but you can't put too many of them on your books. That's the key thing. You can't put too many of them guys on your books. You just can't. Because if you do, yes, you might even have a window with those guys, but you go like lightly shorten your window with Dak, depending on how many years you feel like he has left. So if you kind of estimate that he has 5 left, you don't want to be so aggressive to where you just got to blow the whole team up in 3. You want to kind of have it to the point where you're measurable with your switches. Well, you can hit too many switches.
For me, if you don't get it done in 3 years, you're blowing it up anyway.
I ain't gonna just say that because I don't want, because we've seen quarterbacks that play
at that point, or is he entering his age 35 season maybe? So Dak's out of money at that point. He's 35. CD is also out of money. He's 30.
It just depends on how you're playing at that time, to be honest with you.
Right, but that's the whole point.
If his arm fall off, he's gone.
Like the Cowboys are setting this up, right? No matter what, we're going to spend heavily starting this year for 3 years because of the window that we created back in 2024 when we pitched to everybody. We're all in. It was really all in on our dudes, beginning with Dak and CD, right? So this window has they intentionally put themselves into this position. That's why we're seeing the tone change. Of course, influenced by Brian Schottenheimer. That's really, I think that's what my platform is for. The last 12 months has been dedicated to that, sort of tracking the teams, the way that they're sticking and moving, and how different it's been relative to their recent historical norm. And so I just feel so passionately about that. Like, to me, it doesn't really matter the money and like when or if they have to blow it up, because they're going to blow it up anyway.
And see, it depends on like Dak. Like, so if Dak is like Tom Brady, and he is kind of Tom Brady wired to where he's so disciplined with his body, he's likely going to play a lot longer than most. He's not a Ben. He ain't, he's not a Romo. He's a Drew Brees. He's a guy that'll drink green juice like TB12, right? Because see, you got Tom and Dak is crazy. Like, it's some quarterbacks, it's like, Dak, how do you get slimmer every offseason? It's like, bro, I thought you were slim enough and you're slimmer. So he's like a crazy, like, perfectionist.
He's the ultimate consummate professional, man.
He's wired like Brady in terms of, I'm gonna do everything in my power to be at my best come game day. Now,
there's no doubt.
We're running out of time, so I want to go ahead and get to the other side of because we'll both be able to cover this Puka stuff later.
Absolutely.
The quick thing that I want to just tell people real quick, the best news of the day, this gonna literally take 5 seconds. I just want to showcase this. I really want to tell y'all something that's the best news. I promise y'all that of this off season. If anybody been following me, y'all know I've been pushing for this. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, you got one of the biggest blessings you go ever see. Let me show y'all this, because this is so huge. I literally have been pushing. I've been tagging Dallas on this. I've been telling Dallas, take advantage. I swear to God, I've been doing it.
Yeah.
I've been tagging Dallas, and I said, Dallas, these guys, go get you some of these private independent consultants to work with your coaches. That's because that's what Coach Brandon Jordan was doing. And a lot of people really was giving credit to the coaches of Denver and the coaches of Seattle. But the ghostwriter of those guys, he literally called himself Lando, the ghostwriter. He say, basically, I'm the one making the hits, right? And so basically, Dallas just hired this guy, y'all. And he only was working with 2 other teams. The other 2 teams that also had super dog fronts. So I just want y'all to know what Dallas just did. It's like, bro, it's not just having the talent of Clark. It's not just having the talent of Q. Now you got the best coaching in the world in the middle. Oh, I just want to tell y'all, this literally just happened.
Hey,
Woo!
you getting me jacked up about this too, and it's on the fly. I will say, I gotta study up. I gotta do my due diligence on this gentleman right here, so I can speak more candidly on him. But so my guess is, my initial thoughts. First of all, I want to mention that at the bottom of that Todd Archer tweet that you referred me to before the show began, he mentioned he has a history with Kenny Clark. Is that correct? He's worked with Kenny Clark in the past.
I didn't look at his individual client list.
That's what, according to Todd Archer, that's the case. Now,
so
I can't verify that. That's just Todd Archer saying. I don't have any reason to. Nobody has any reason to deny or doubt Mr. Archer, who does great work over there. But so the next thing is, my question would be, like, for folks who may be like me and are unaware of this gentleman, is it like sort of the Duke Manyweather of defensive?
That's it. You hit it. You hit it. You hit it. It's Duke Manyweather for the DTs.
Man.
But doper.
Yeah. Okay.
And I said doper.
Yeah.
So Duke dope.
That says a lot. That speaks volumes, by the way.
He's not hitting them home runs like he hitting on his defense, y'all. I'm just being honest. I've been watching this guy, bro. And I watch a lot of those personal trainers. Like, I watch them and I watch their work and I watch their clients. That's, and when I see like people like Real Truth, look him up too. This guy named Real Truth, Ronnie Braxton. So he was working with Genty last year, right? So these are some of the personal trainers that if they get their hands on you in the off season, they make a big difference to your game. So a lot of people saw the jump on Flournoy, right? So, but that Flournoy jump didn't just happen from just desire. What happened is him and Spanford was working with another trainer, independent trainer named Real Truth, right? And so you saw that jump in their game because you saw the dedication to the right independent coach in the off season. And I've been saying this to Dallas. I've been tagging them. See, and I want to tell people think I'm crazy. People think y'all crazy when you go out and you be bold and you literally tag people that you want to actually talk to. Tag Dallas, tag these media people, tag people that you feel like need to hear your message. Because guess what? Somebody might hear it. That's the point of all this, is that, am I taking credit for this? No. But I'm just saying is that at least people know on record that they've been seeing me push for this. And maybe my voice did get through. I ain't gonna say I didn't, but I know this. I see Dallas doing the right thing. And this is something that, if this don't excite us to all be more active in social media, to be more organized like Lando and myself and people that's willing to start podcasts, expand their voices and network and meet people to push their ideas and kind of link up like this, to even debate if we have to get the best ideas out here.
Heck yeah.
This is what it's about, y'all. And that was the best news of the day. That's why I told you I was going to tell y'all about Christmas. That's the Christmas. And it's Christmas, February 24th. Like, trust me, this is going to have
real early this year
difference on your defense. Exponential. He's on the staff now, y'all.
Yeah, that's crazy. I can't wait to that'll be my project for tonight. I've got some more things that I've kind of been building towards unpacking, and two of them are what the contract extensions for the likes of not just Quinnen Williams but also Kenny Clark would look like. And now that we have this added information, this inside connection to this gentleman right here, remind me of his name one more time. Coach Jordan, what's his first name?
Brandon Jordan. He calls himself the Ghost Watch.
Okay. Yeah. So Coach Jordan,
the Ghost Writer. And that's kind of like, and see, that's kind of slick, because you know what a ghostwriter is. Somebody that actually writes the hits, but the rapper has the voice to actually do the hits, right? But the person that actually makes the hit is the person who wrote it, right? So
yeah, you're educating me on the fly right here with this, but I'm all ears. I'm listening.
So that's a rap thing. So in the rap, that's what a ghostwriter is. So they writing the hits, but then you'll have a guy with a great voice that'll rap it, right? And they kind of blend themselves. Now the person who get the credit is the rapper, but that's what he basically said. I do all the work, they get the credit.
Hey man, I will say this. Everybody that, well, let me just say it simply. Sports media has evolved.
Yeah, it has.
And our voice, our pull, our influence.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Immeasurable. And ever growing year over year. Every single show that you hit record on, every single collaboration that you and I do,
right,
our power grows. New media, I think, is the term that people are running with these days. I'm cool with that. I don't know what that insinuates. I mean, hey, I'm running my race. I'm doing my thing. Like I said, I told you behind the scenes, man, like I got 3 kids, 3 and under. My free time is not free, to say the least. And so every single second I spend away from them, I better be anything I have to say. It matters, right? Because I could be out there with them playing around. We could be riding bikes or, painting my daughter's the play school pink and purple house with chalk and water that I'm looking at right here. I could be doing dad stuff, but this is my passion, and this is what I do when I'm not dad to three beautiful babies. Then I'm trying to create and creatively convey the sports below the surface truth for the fans, like however many are in here right now. I don't know that answer. I don't know the number, but I know it's a lot. And I know a lot more people are going to watch it after we get off. Everybody's on their post-work commute back home right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully driving safely and enjoying their time. But man, this is it matters a lot. And you're like, just to your point, man, your voice
matters.
It's a big deal, and so that's why we do this.
That's be bold with it too. That's my whole point. It's like, be bold with it. Like I see my boy DA Lee, he's crazy. Like and Angie and different people, to where you'll just think, oh, they just in the chat. But if you watch them work on X, if you watch them and you see the responses, you see players responding to them, and and just as they're just having conversations that they don't think people are watching, right? So it's one of those.
And a post I made 4 years ago, and this is off topic, but a post I made 4 years ago about Dak. It's pinned actually still to this day at the top of my Twitter. Was retweeted by Tad, his brother, and he and I still have a routine back and forth conversation to this day because of one post that I made 4 or 5 years ago. When I think it was actually maybe 2019.
Right, and you wasn't even heavy in the content yet.
No, I was still playing baseball. I was still playing pro ball in Cleveland at the time. I think
right.
is when that. Yeah, so
No.
yeah, it wasn't a career for me. It was a hobby at that point.
It's just greatly connected to social media. So the more aggressive we are about stuff we believe in, this is not a time to where people don't hear you. We're all in the room together now. Basically.
Absolutely, man. No doubt.
So let's
about it.
just
Rising tide raises all boats too. I'm not naive to that fact. So no question.
We got 10 minutes. We got 10. Do
minutes.
You still want to box, or we want to reschedule?
No, let's just hit it quickly. I mean, I've kind of stated my sense, so I'm gonna let you. I'm really curious about where you're at, like with the trading Max Crosby stuff. I know you suggested like we teased at the beginning, you didn't want to rewrite the rules just because we like Pickens, and that's not obviously what I was trying to do. They're two premium positions at the end of the day. My stance was that I'm not willing to sacrifice a 24-year-old All-Pro who could become, who knows how good he could be. He's still scratching the surface merely. Or when I know and subscribe to the sentiment that we can have both. That's what the thumbnail says. For those of people on my side who clicked on this view, and thank you for this channel. Thank you for doing that, by the way. But I don't want to pick one or the other. Like if it comes down to one or the other, then I'm going to stick with the guy that I've already got. I'm not looking for excuses to get rid of my best players. Like I'm being selfish right now because of this window that I know that they're operating in and the money that they're about to spend as a result of it. If it's not Max Crosby, go get me Trey Hendrickson. If it's not Trey Hendrickson, go get me Boye Mafe. If it's not Boye Mafe, go get me Odafe Owe. If it's not Odafe Owe, go get me Khalil Mack. If it's not Khalil Mack, go get me Jordan Phillips. Or excuse me, Jalen Phillips. I don't care. My thing is, I'm not trading George Pickens just because of the outdated, and I'm not saying this is you, I'm saying the outdated conventional wisdom of what the salary cap is, what Cap Boy conditioned Cowboys to think about with the cap, and this micro understanding of pie, right? And thinking that there is so much to go around that you can't kick the can down the road, that you can't, like we're not projecting and forecasting what's about to come when this new TV money rolls in the future. And I understand that's still 4 or 5 years away, but that's what this is all about, right? When you add void years on top of a 4-year window or of a 3-year contract extension, that's where we are. You're having deferred money into this period in which we're discussing 25% annual increase of the salary cap year over year. So that's just my whole, I think that's where we disagree or where we slightly differ. And I didn't disagree with you, by the way, that I want Max Crosby on this team. I just don't want it at the expense of George Pickens, if that makes sense.
So when I say I'm not rewriting the rules, and I've been just kind of summing it up like that, it's a football understanding of value that's expressed in a lot of different metrics, right? So if we look historical draft metrics, it shows you which position is most valued.
Yes.
Edge, tackle, quarterback, because they come off the board the fastest every year, right? If you look at the money, that's why when you was on the show, Dan said follow the money, right? So the positions that impact the game the most, it might not be the sexiest, but they impact the game the most, is quarterback, tackle, and edge. All of those are straight lines to either prosperity or straight chaos. See what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you can't protect, it's gonna be chaos all day, right? If you can protect, it's prosperity for your quarterback all day. The game is basically bent on those 3 positions. Right. So when you have a chance to get a premium one, right, especially with a plan to also replace what you lost, I'm open to it. And it's one of those things to where I wouldn't even have this proposal unless it was a guy of that caliber, right? And the reason why I'm so high on Crosby is because of the max, the multiplier effect in him, right? So he's a Micah type. Now, I'm not saying they had the same game.
They have actually very different games in the run game specifically. Yeah,
he's better. So Crosby's better.
Yes.
So in that part, and then Micah has better closing speed. So, but where they are exactly the same is the amount of attention that they garnished.
Gravity.
Just from their presence on the field. Yes. And that creates a cascading effect, or what I would also call a chain reaction effect, right? So it helps all of your people across your front have more one-on-ones, and that's why when Michael was on the field, we was number one in the league, right? And I forgot one of the
Takeaways, right?
No, it was DVOA.
Oh, DVOA,
yeah. But then we was dead last, and we've been last since he's left.
Mm-hmm.
We've been last since he's left.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get a guy that comes back, and it's not just about that one guy, because we still would have other pieces to build, right? We still got people we got to get. We're not saying that, but what I'm saying is you get one guy that does a multiplying and a effect to your defense with a good plan to also help your offense. Because my plan was the Dan G plan. You know what I'm talking about? The Dan Graziano. Did you see that plan?
I'm unfamiliar. No, sir.
Okay, so he pitched it from ESPN, and I pitched the same plan the day before. I swear to God, I said the exact same thing. I said what we should do is offer the Raiders 20, okay, and do a swap between either CD, because I would give up either one of them, CD or Pickens, right? Because and so now you got 12. 12 will be then allocated to your weapon. So whatever happens from the wash on that, you get it and you live with it, right? The reason why I also pushed that is because I did a massive amount of research, even in 2018, where I went back at that time 10 years and I looked at every first round weapon, because that was around the time we was getting ready to replace Dez. So I wanted to have a smart transition, right? So I was looking at history saying, what's the smartest way to do this? What I found was when first round weapons was drafted under existing all pros, they had a like 95% success rate, and they usually become the new number one on that team. That's how dope it worked. So I'm basically saying we would be in that same scenario, because we would still have one of the all pros on the team, depending on which one you swapped out, right? So then you roll another receiver here at 12. It would have a higher probability than replacing the edge if you try to draft the edge to build your team, right? And you would likely have an offense that will continue to roll with great consistency. So it's like, it's not just about getting rid of Pickens or CD Lamb. It's about having an overall better team at the sacrifice of one of them dudes. So that's the vision.
So my thing is, though, with that, why I'm so against it is because I'm not just trading George Pickens for Max Crosby. I'm trading George Pickens, one all-pro at a premium position, for another. I'm also voiding 20, so I'm losing a first-round asset, and I'm also losing 5 years of prime window in the process because of the age discrepancy between George and Max. So that to me is just too much, and it's unnecessary. I don't have to trade away a guy that I just struck gold with. Why do I strike gold, look to sell it away for pennies on the dollar, and then recoup more assets that are going to be unpredictable when those assets are going to be the same? Like it's the process of trying to find the guy that we just traded away. Like, what's the whole purpose, right? When you have a piece, a championship piece in a championship caliber win it window, keep it and then add on top of it. Don't just swap one for one or subtract. Keep adding.
Swapping one for, and you getting one with a higher value though. You get
marginally.
No, edge is a much higher value.
Let me explain what I mean by that. And I had a clip, and it's posted. I don't think we have time to let the whole clip play. I do have to run, but it was my discussion with Vach prior to last season. Teams now will find it was also part of the super chat where I said that the value is sometimes slow to catch up to the true positional relevance, right? And it's because teams now, they'll find the scrub no matter what, like Vach always says. And that was just the conversation with him. Tackle is less relevant today than it was even 3, 4, 5 years ago, because now teams will just line whoever their best rusher is in A or B gap and put him on against their biggest mismatch. They'll put Micah Parsons over Tyler Biotish in A gap. If the smart D coordinators, that's what they'll do. And so I'm just like, positional value, I'm not making a decision based on what the market suggests, because the market isn't always totally accurate or indicative of what is winning now. And there's my thing now, the modern theme under this whole discussion is that, man, the teams that have the luxury of having pieces and the game breaking assets on one side of the ball, talking about gravity of Max Crosby, think about the gravity of what Christian Parker walked into that meeting room and told Jerry, Stevens, Shoddy and company. He's like, hey, y'all know, by the way, just what y'all got over here, right? And George Pickens, y'all ain't about to let him go, are you? Yeah, he's reminding him of that. And then Dak speaking on another man's money when guys usually don't do that. Dak wasn't shy about speaking about George because the PTSD with Micah just happened, right? They're like, he's basically telling the Cowboys front office, hey, please don't screw this up. And then, of course, we've got other insiders who have connections inside the building, like Mike Fisher, telling us, hey, the football people in the building, not just coaches, not just players, but also scouts, would, quote, have an aneurysm if they let this guy go. Now, Stephen Jones, as late as today, saying George Pickens, or he said, when we have George Pickens. I think he let that slip. I still have to go back and re-listen to it, but there's just so much evidence, man. But my thing is just like, why do I have to pick and choose when I know for a fact, because of the cap accounting, simple switches that can be flipped, like the Cowboys have the luxury of creating $130 million just by pressing 4 buttons that the players have no pull over. They have no decision or say in. It's a team decision that's built in when they negotiate these contracts in the first place. Well, I don't have to choose one or the other. I can have both, and it doesn't have to be Max Crosby, because Max Crosby requires trading for. Trey Hendrickson requires negotiating. Right, so that's also a difficult decision, but it's like.
So I will say we hit the mark. We had the deadline. So I would say this is a perfect excuse for us to do this again.
Yeah,
we didn't finish. We didn't finish, and a good pausing point. I do see people saying that they're tired of this conversation. I'm gonna just be all the way honest with everybody on this. I'm gonna just be honest with everybody. I don't do content to entertain. I do content to influence ideas that I believe is best for the team. So I know it's gonna frustrate some of you. I'm not saying leave. I would never say, well, tell your ass. I'm not gonna never tell people that support me. I just want y'all to know that this is sincere to me. This is sincere.
Likewise.
And because I believe it, I'm intentionally talking about it and having this conversation. Now, what I did do is I made sure that we talked about first things that was breaking the day and things that was great news. But I'm just letting everybody know I am going to continue to talk about this because I am pushing for this. Just like I was pushing for Jordan to be our coach, I do believe somebody might got their ear to what I'm saying. And especially when I'm seeing a pattern of that, I'm going to talk louder. I'm just going to be all the way honest with everybody. But this is the good thing. We're bringing on good people to have this discussion with that usually have a totally different take. So we getting different angles to this thing too. You know, that's what it is. We getting totally different angles. We getting insight. We having more togetherness. Lando and I have never done a show and we so late to this. We are late. So anyway, man, my final words is y'all just be patient with me. Y'all be patient with Lando. Because we all just trying to hash this thing out. And what we want to do is we want to do it in the public out of love for each other and love for the Cowboys. This is the natural thing in the offseason to have fights. This is a natural thing. But Lando and I is the perfect way. You would probably never see it done this well unless it's likely me and J Tuck and Lando. Because those are the type of people, just from me doing content with them, that even when you disagree, they so professional, you can't tell. No slick shots, no snarkiness, nothing. It's just, I see it different, and we just handle it very respectfully.
We talk about it and we learn, man. That's it.
We learn.
Yeah. So, and at the end of the day, we all want the same thing, right? That's really what it boils down to. We want what's best. We just have different perspectives, and that's great. I think it's healthy, and I think it's entertaining for the fans. I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation as much as we did, but it is my fault. We have to run early. My daughter is out of school. We are showing our house here at 5:15, trying to sell it, and then she's got gymnastics at 5:30. So dad duty commences. From one job to the other. You roll. Part 2, I guess, coming soon. My piece. I'll end it here. Boss, first of all, thank you, man, because you've been doing this a lot longer than I have, and it's because of people like you that afford me the luxury of getting to do to call my passion my job.
Yeah.
And so thank you for the time today. Thank you for the time that you've committed over the course of your content creating career.
Yes, sir.
These types of discussions are incredibly important. And yes, Lord, we want the same thing. And I'll go ahead and drop one of those as well for the people, man. I enjoyed this one. I hope you guys did the same. Remember that prayer changes things and the war's already won. I hope y'all can continue this.
Amen, brother.
Time, but part 2 coming soon. Stay tuned.
Part 2, we'll schedule it. Y'all look forward. This was dope. Let's get it again.
Yes, sir.
All right. Man, I feel so good. We got us a Jordan. We got Jordan, yo. We got Jordan. I'm so happy. Oh, man. Oh, man. I'm so happy. No show, man. Can't wait.